There are two characters on the screen, two health bars, one round, one shot. There's no team to fall back on, no inventory to manage, no second chances. Just you versus your opponent. In that moment, everything fades away. There is no noise, no crowd, no world outside the screen, just instinct, execution, muscle memory, and, of course, your heart. This is the world of fighting games. One of the most misunderstood, most challenging, and most electrifying genres in all of gaming.
He's eating donuts at Evo!
And for over 3 decades, fighting games have survived every trend, every shift, every evolution the industry has thrown at them. Through ups and downs, they have persevered. They have outlasted the arcades, outlived the death of couch multiplayer, and they never stopped evolving. So why? Why has the fighting game endured? Why do thousands of players fly across the world just for the chance to compete? Why do people still spend hundreds of hours in training mode just to land one combo, one punish, one moment? Why still in 2025, when gaming is filled with awesome open world games, cinematic experiences, billion-dollar shooters, why do fighting games still survive? In our own little niche, it's not just the action, not just the competition, it's the community, the culture, the unique challenge, and the legacy. This is a genre born from arcades, grown by passion, a genre that demands the best of you and gives you nothing unless you earn it. A genre where every frame, every second counts, and every fight tells its own story. This is my love letter to fighting games, to the players, to the moments, the movement, and the FGC. Everything that keeps us coming back for one more round. This is why fighting games rule.
So remember, no surrender, my defining moment. I will stand up, overcome my past, this is different to the end.
So, to understand fighting games, let's go all the way back. Back where it started. Back before ranked lobbies, before rollback netcodes, before huge esports arenas and massive sponsorships. Back to the arcade. The arcade wasn't simply a place to play video games, though of course that happened, but it was almost a battleground for players, a proving ground to test themselves, test each other, and to see of course who is the best. And so it became an ecosystem built on competition, reputation, and respect. And in the middle of that scene, something new slowly formed. In 1984, Karate Champ brought 1v1 martial arts for the first time to the screen. Then in 1987, Street Fighter. Clunky, stiff, ambitious, but that was the turning point. And then everything completely exploded in 1991. Street Fighter 2 hit the arcades, and it was like a fireball straight to the chest. 6 buttons, 8 directions, 8 characters. It was a beautiful, truly the first modern fighting game. A game of pure reflexes, mind games, mastery, and it was an instant phenomenon. It soon became arguably the biggest game on the planet for that time. Players lined up around the block with quarters in hand just to get a chance at the cabinet. Winners stayed on, losers waited or walked away. This immediately created a unique competitive atmosphere not seen anywhere else really. And Street Fighter 2, oh boy, that wasn't just a game. It became our own language. Players learned to read each other, to fake, bait, punish, counter. They discovered combos, not because the game told them how, but because they experimented, explored, innovated and played. They played a lot. Soon Mortal Kombat added blood, fatalities and violence, exploding into a mainstream phenomenon. King of Fighters brought us deep team battles and a huge roster. Tekken brought 3D fighting to the mainstream. Virtua Fighter pushed animation and realism further than anyone else. Guilty Gear introduced people to speed and style with anime, flash and heavy metal flair. Each of these games contributed to what fighting games would become. Unique, expressive, endlessly replayable, but all of it started in the arcade. When the arcades started to fade in the early 2000s, many thought the genre would die with them. But fighting games didn't vanish. They adapted. Yes, there was a period where we got much less fighting games than we used to. But Street Fighter 4 in 2009 sparked a rebirth. Online play brought back the arcade experience to homes. Tournaments streamed those matches across the world. Now the fight had gone global. But let's not forget what those early days gave us. They gave us the core of what makes fighting games special. The tension of two players staring each other down. The psychological warfare of a good read. The adrenaline of a good comeback. And most of all, the feeling you got when you won. Not your gear, not your stats, you. In the beginning, fighting games weren't about esports, monetization, or content updates. They were about only one thing: beating your opponent. Fighting games are often called the hardest genre in gaming. Why? Because they ask for something that few games truly demand anymore. Mastery. Not just understanding, not just improvement, but mastery. If you want to play on the highest level, you need mastery. At first it looks simple. Pick a character, land a punch, win the round. And it's true. On lower levels, that's completely how it works. If you just want to have fun smashing buttons, that is completely allowed. But the second you face someone who knows what they're doing, you realize how deep the rabbit hole goes. Suddenly you're stuck in a corner and can't do anything. The whole round is over before you know it. There are no shortcuts in fighting games. No random critical hits. No best loadout. No overpowered builds you can Google and build yourself. It's just you and your skill. Raw skill. And that skill has layers. First, there's execution. The ability to actually do what your character can do. Quarter circle forwards, dragon punches, charge moves, one frame links, tiger knees, cancels, wave dashes, Korean back dashes, everything. It's physical, it's muscle memory, it's precision. Not like many modern games, it usually won't do it for you. If you mess up, you messed up. It's your fault. Then there's spacing. Knowing where to be and when to strike. It's called footsies in fighting games, and it's the heart of the neutral game. A constant dance of pokes, baits and reactions where every single pixel matters. A single step too far and you whiff. A single step too close and you get a counter hit. And then the next layer, mind games. You don't just play your character, you play your opponent. Will they block high or low? Will they mash or wait? Will they throw? Will they jump? Will they wake up super? You don't just fight with inputs, you fight with reads, with conditioning, with setups, traps, resets and baits. It's kinda like a chess match, played at 60 frames per second. And then there's frame data. The numbers behind every punch, kick and fireball. Every move in a fighting game has a startup frame, how fast it comes out, active frames, how long it can hit, and recovery frames, how long you're vulnerable after. A good player knows intuitively what works, but a great player knows exactly. They know what's safe, what's punishable, what's plus, what's minus. But the beauty behind all this complexity is that you don't need to understand any of it to have fun. But the more you learn, the more you train, the deeper the game gets to an almost infinite level. This is the grind. The grinding fighting games is not grinding XP or level ups. It's a grind to become better. The grind of learning your character, your matchups, your mind and your opponent's mind. You hit a wall, you get frustrated, you drop the combo, you lose. Then you lab, you adjust, you run it back. And then, when you finally land that combo in a real match, the one you spent an hour practicing in the lab, the feeling is unmatched, because it actually feels like you earned it. Every sport has its own icons, the names that define eras, the moments that become legend, stories passed down match by match, round by round. And fighting games are no different. From local arcades to the global stage, fighting game has its own legends. Players whose skill, personality and passion turned them into something more. In 2004 at EVO, the biggest fighting game tournament in the world, a moment happened that would define not just Street Fighter, but competitive gaming as a whole. Justin Wong with Chun-Li activates her super, flurry of kicks, 15 strikes in rapid succession. Any one of them would end the match, but Daigo Umehara doesn't block, he doesn't jump, he doesn't panic, he parries every single hit, 15 times in a row, and then a perfect counterattack and victory. The crowd explodes, and the legendary EVO Moment 37 is born. It's not just about the mechanics, it's about the nerves, precision, execution under pressure. It's about the moment and what it takes to seize it. We have many other legends in the fighting game community. Every era seems to have its own titan. Sonic Fox, fearless, flamboyant, master of multiple games. Doesn't matter if it's Mortal Kombat, Injustice, Dragon Ball Fighters. They're proven dominant time and time again. Ni, the god of Tekken, cold, calculating, unbeatable. Goichi, we all remember Goichi versus Sonic Fox in Fighters. Awesome rivalry. Arslan Ash, player from Pakistan who shocked Tekken World by winning EVO Japan and EVO World in the same year, back to back. A true story of underdogs, barriers, and power of the global influence of fighting games. And that's the thing. These aren't just players, these are stories. Stories of comebacks, reverses, final round, final hit situations, salty runbacks, grudge matches, East versus West, David versus Goliath. Every tournament, every major, every local is a stage for a new legend to rise. And the beauty in fighting games isn't just the pros. Of course the legends are legends, but there's legends all around us. The guy at your local who's impossible to beat is a legend in his own right. The first time you won a bracket match, that's an awesome moment. The 3 a.m. set you're playing against your friend that goes on forever and goes to a game of 10 to tie-break it, that's awesome. That's a legendary moment. And in fighting games, every fight, every match can become one of these stories, these awesome legendary moments. These are not scripted moments, they are not developer-created set pieces, they are not pre-written hero arcs. They're real, raw, earned. And that's why they matter. In an industry dominated by publishers, sponsors, and billion-dollar prize pools, fighting games are still kinda small. It's still ours, for the time being at least. They've always been powered not by corporations, but by small communities. The community here I'm talking about is the FGC, the fighting game community. And if fighting games are the body, FGC is the soul. And I'm not talking about the pro players, I'm talking about the bracket runners, stream operators, people who bring extra monitors to locals. It's a friend who teaches you matchups, the guy who DMs you the timestamps, the person who stays after bracket to help you lab your loss. All those guys. Now the FGC is really salty, messy, emotional, unstable, let's say, but it's real. Unlike most esports, the fighting game scene didn't start in sponsored stadiums. It started in arcades, living rooms, and rec centers. Hotel ballrooms with scuffed CRTs. Locals with 10 entrants and prize pools that could buy you lunch. Every big event we know today, Combo Breaker, CEO, EVO, came only from somebody saying, hey, let's just do a tournament. And then people showed up. Even EVO, that's now owned by the Saudis and is a humongous event, still started out from something humble and small. But in the FGC, usually everyone starts from zero, and from the same floor. And that's the best part. You don't have to be a pro to belong in one of these events. Maybe you'll never win EVO, maybe you'll never make top 8. But you showed up, you learned your matchup, you leveled up. You fought great matches. And that's what matters. You had fun. Because in the FGC, the barrier to entry is low. But the ceiling, well, the ceiling is infinite. The only thing you need, technically, is a copy of the game. And you will find someone to play with, no matter what. The FGC doesn't care what you look like, where you come from, or how good you are today. It only cares about, can you hold your own? And if not, someone will help you learn. Or, if not, you will get your ass handed to you, and you will learn. Because no matter how competitive it gets, at its core, I think the FGC isn't just about ego, it's about growth, and it's about helping others, and it's about having fun. And I think that's why the FGC is a pretty unique community on our little side of the internet. Fighting games don't just come in one flavor. They are not all fireballs and health bars. The genre is massive, diverse, rich in style, mechanics, and heritage. And that's one of the biggest reasons it's endured. Because fighting games aren't one game, there are 100 different martial arts, styles, all competing on the same stage. You want fundamentals? You want spacing? Footsies? You want a game that teaches you to think like a fighter? That's Street Fighter for you. This is the game that defined the genre. A chess match played with fists and fireballs. Timeless design, legendary characters, simple to learn, incredibly hard to master. Preferred 3D movement? No, doesn't matter. That's Tekken for you, where movement is everything. Spacing is king, where combos go to the wall and back, and one mistake can cost you the round. It's fast, it's beautiful, it's brutal. There's no projectiles here, no zoning at the same style as in Street Fighter. Just you, your buttons, and your reads. Want incredible spectacle, style, depth that is as wild as it's rewarding. Welcome to anime fighters, like Guilty Gear or Blast Blue or Melty Blood. This came out fast, flashy, fluid. They demand creativity, awareness, high-speed decision-making. Maybe you're looking for a team-based fighter. Look no further than King of Fighters, SNK's legendary team-based fighter. Deep roster, fast-paced, old-school fundamentals, and a modern twist. Or maybe you're looking for something completely different. Something with items, stocks, platforms, and gravity-defying edge guards. That's Super Smash Bros. Part party game, part fighter, but still intense as everything else. Whether it's Ultimate's massive roster or Melee's more mechanical madness, Smash is a whole universe unto itself, with one of the most dedicated communities around. Maybe you just want pure violence. Hey, Mortal Kombat has been a fighting game staple since the 90s. Brutal execution, legacy of controversy, innovation, and it's incredibly entertaining. And I'm not even going into the indies. There's a bajillion great indie titles. Fighting Herd, Skullgirls, that's an indie. They are incredible, with gorgeous games, with deep mechanics, something you would never see in a AAA space. Don't sleep on the indies. My point is, fighting games aren't just one thing. They're an ecosystem. There's something for everyone. You can find your game. Not every fighting game is for everyone, but I think there is a fighting game for everyone. You want a character that matches your energy? You got hundreds, thousands to choose from. You want to play footsies, fly through the air, zone, rush down, throw people, parry? There's a game and a character for you. Out there somewhere. You just have to find it. Fighting games celebrate expression. The way you play becomes an extension of who you are. If you're like grapplers, you become a grappler main. That's your thing. You don't pick a class per se, you pick a fighter, a name, a style, something that matches you. And once you find that one character that really clicks with you, well, you're in for life. Fighting games are really hard, but they are also one of the most inclusive, accessible, and welcoming genres in all of gaming. I know it sounds a bit strange, but ask anyone who has been to a local or a major. Fighting games, the players, they are from end to end. There's no ideal fighting game player. There's no right age, gender, race, body type, playstyle, anything. Some players are pros, some are casuals, some are combo monsters, some play only one character for 10 years straight. Some don't even enter tournaments, they just come watch and cheer. And all of them are awesome. And the community wants you to show up. Many tournaments now offer beginner brackets, mentorship programs, inclusive policies, accessible setups, streaming booths for first-time players. Everyone remembers how it is to be new. We've all been there, getting perfected, getting bodied, feeling like we don't belong. But then you find someone who helps you, sits you down, asks, hey, wanna run some sets? That's when it changes. That's when you realize you belong, you're part of the FGC. And this isn't only a local thing, it's global. Fighting games have deep roots around the world. In Japan, Korea, US, Mexico, Pakistan, Philippines, Brazil, France, I could go on. People are playing, innovating. There's local scenes for you to find. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm praising the FGC a lot here, but FGC has a lot of toxicity, gatekeeping and harassment, of course. It's a large space. But people usually at least speak up, organizers step up, and players, stand together against obvious hate and bullshit. Of course, tempers do flare up. It's a competitive game after all. You are fighting and you're putting your all in a match. So, your emotions are out there. But in the end, the genre thrives on competition, but also on connection. It doesn't matter how many matches you lost. The moment you sit down, pick your character and press fight, you're part of it. So, why do fighting games rule? Why are they so awesome? Why have they lasted 30 years through every trend, every shift, every evolution of gaming? Because at their core, fighting games are about truth. Not just competition, or combos, or frame data, but truth in its rawest, purest form. When you sit down and press start, it's just you, no teammates, no builds, no one to carry you. It's your reads, your decision, your heart. And that's rare nowadays. Fighting games demand everything, but give back even more. You lose, it's on you. You win, that's all you, baby. And that's what makes every victory, every fight real. And they are very personal. Every player brings themselves into the match. You can see someone's personality just by the way they move. You can feel their style in every input. I learned about people through fighting them. And sometimes you learn about yourself. Fighting games aren't about violence, they're about connection. They're about sitting down from across someone, looking them in the eye and saying, let's do it. Let's see what you got. You may never win a major. You may never land that one frame, link, awesome combo, whatever. But if you ever felt the rush of a close round, if you leveled up in the lab, if you made a friend through the game, if you ever shouted, run it back, then you already know the truth. Fighting games are awesome.